Okay, I had to switch to another camera because the GoPro, the batteries only last me maybe 15 minutes. I don't understand it. I put them on the charger, get the other one that's full, put it on, 15 minutes. I don't know if I have it in the wrong setting and it's heating too much power. I don't know what the deal is. So I got my other little Panasonic. So I was in the middle of something. Let me start from the beginning here. So the 357, this is the spear because the Nozzler only had 158 grains. That's it. This is the spear. And the spear has more selection. If you want to practice, you have a 148 hollow point. No, I mean wad cutter. And when you shoot that, you get perfectly rounded punches on the paper, and you can see it from far away. You don't have to go over there or anything. So with this one, this is a good, if you want to use it for self-protection, it's not a bullet that's going to go and run through and go through, depends on your load too. If you put it hot, it'll go through walls. So this one gives you the hottest one. It's 822 muzzle velocity. It's the AA number 2, and you put in there 3.6 grains, which is very low. Then you get the red dot, it moves up, actually moves down to 312. And bullseye goes down even further to, no, I said 812, not 312. And the bullseye goes down to 806. That's at 158 grain wad cutter. Then you got 110, 125, 140, and 158. And in this one, you have flat nose, hollow point. Let's see, JDHP, JD hollow point, and JSP. It says here 160, reducing the maximum charge by 1 grain. Okay, so the hottest on this one, and they do go up, is 1253 muzzle velocity with 15 grains of number N110. And then unique, I got some unique. Well, I used to use, I don't have any more. I don't think I have any more powder for handguns. The unique goes to 1040. So it's not, you get maximum, you get 1253. And it doesn't have a 180. I don't understand why, but the that other company I mentioned, the Buffalo Boar, I think it was. It's a blue box. You get 180 grain hard cast, and there's some other companies that they have also the same load. Oh, wait a minute. I spoke too soon. There's a 180 grain, but it says here silhouette load, meaning that these were used back in the day when they were shooting metal plates, sport that started in Mexico. It was brought out here. Uh, if it's a TNJ SH. It looks like it's a solid tip. It's got a little bit of a flat nose. So it's a 180 grain, and also they have a 200 grain. Now let's see, 180 grain. The hottest is powder 296, 15.9 grains, and it goes up to 1573. That's a scorcher. That's gonna shake your hand. And then the H110 powder goes down to 1528. So you got to find the one that you can shoot comfortable. So you shoot one load, say 5 or 6 rounds, and you take this load and you shoot it. See how accurate you are at a certain distance. Say if you want to shoot 30 feet, 40 feet, and you see how accurate you are without load, and you keep going down until you find one that's comfortable, accurate, because like I said before, there's no point in having a cannon if you can't control it. And then it goes down to 1503, 1429, 1416, and 1371 with the blue dot. And then they have a 200 grain, which I didn't even know they had it. And the hottest on this one is not too hot, is the H110 powder, 14.5 grains, and you go 1392, which is pretty decent. I will keep it around there. You don't need to be 1500. 1500 is going to be you know, too much, unless you got big hands and you can control it. But there's an old guy in I think it's Kentucky or Tennessee. I got him confused. This guy's I think he used to be a champion shooter. Hickok Hickok 45. I've seen some of a lot of his videos. And he was shooting the Magnum, and he says it's gonna hurt your hand. And this guy got huge hands, so I don't have the biggest hands. So if he's complaining about having big hands that it kicks, imagine somebody with lesser frame, like me. He's a big, heavy guy, a tall guy with big hands, and he was shooting the Model 69. And he says he liked to shoot the 44 Special, which is softer. But when he got to the Magnum, he goes, whoa. But he was still accurate. And that's one thing I like about that gun, that even though you're shooting a hot load or higher load, you're accurate enough to hit what you're aiming. And he was hitting everything. This guy does not miss. He could hit an apple or a grape. This guy's good. He knows how to shoot. And he's been shooting for years. So you find a load that you can comfortably handle, and then you go with that when you go into bear country, knowing that you have a good Magnum on your side, and it's going to take care of business. Now there's another load here that's called the Maximum. Yeah, these are Magnum silhouette loads, and I don't know why they call it silhouette. Is it a different metal? Maybe it's not as hard. Maybe it's a softer lead or copper. You got to look into that, because if you're shooting 200 grain and you're thinking, oh, 200 grain is going to do it, but it's a softer metal, you're not doing much. TMJ SIL. I got to look into the specifics. And it was tested with a Thompson Center Contender. Okay, now if we go to let's say they got the Maximum, which I don't know who makes that. They also got the same weight, 140, 158, 180, 180 flat nose, and 200 and 220. They have a 220, my God. And the hot load on this one is the H110, 18.5 grains, and it goes to 1541. So let me see. The 180, this is 220. Okay, so let's go with the 200. Let's see. It's yeah, the H110 is the hottest load. Okay. And if you want to practice, you go with the IMR 42-27 powder, and you're shooting 1,088 out the muzzle. Softer on your hand. Get the feel for the gun. Get to know which way the gun's gonna kick, move, and practice without beating up your hands and beating up the gun, because the gun It's going to take a beating if you're shooting heavy loads all the time. It's like everything, you're going to wear it out. Now let's go to the 44, and I'm going to check the 45 also. Okay, 44 Magnum. Here we go. They got wait a minute, separated by 2 sheets. 40. Oh, they got it. They got the 41. 41. I knew somebody that had a 41, and I had a chance to shoot it, and I never did. That's a very rare gun. Okay, so Remington. Wow, they have a wad cutter that's semi-wad cutter, 240 grains. 240 grains. Yeah, ew, that's a kick. But the hottest it goes is 947 with 9.5 grains. Then they got a 200, 225, 240, 300. Holy mackerel. I didn't even know that. 300. Oh, that's, that could crack your knuckles, man. Come on. Let's see here. Okay, it doesn't go that hot because you're pushing a 300 grain. 296 powder, 22.5 grains. It must be a real small little sandy type of, because you have the little um, slices, little shells, little round disc powder. Then you got the little stick powder, half a stick, and then you have the little sandy type, very fine grain. So 22.5 grains, which is a lot, and you're gonna get 1,187, which is not that hot. You pushing 300. If you go with the 240, you go again with the H110 powder, 110, and 24 grains, and you're getting 1451. Okay. I don't know if I will go to 240. That's gonna be a can. Let's see, 225, and they have it. Oh, they do have a good selection. They have 3. They got 3 bullets. The other one only have one bullet, but this one has a called Mag Hollow Point, Mag Soft Point, and the TMJ ASI-L, which I don't know what that means. It's got to say here. It's got to say here somewhere. And they're suggesting whatever bullet you put here, you use, says here, this load may be used with the 240 grain, the GSP or the SWC, by reducing maximum charge by 1 grain. So you take 1 little grain off to play it safe. And you go 1451, 1420, 1382, 1340, 1285. So if I want to go with something a little bit less of a monster, let's see, 1340, that would be good. I will go with the Powder IMR 4227, which is easier to find at the 296, I believe, depending on where you go. Because this reloading shop that I used to go and buy stuff, guys out of everything. And what I've heard so far is that the military is running out of stuff because they keep sending ammo and to these war zones, and they're using powder. So the contractors, the ammo contractors, are making ammo for the military, for the government, and they hardly have any time to dedicate to making bullets and making powder for civilian use, because they're using all this powder, manufacturing and sending and sending and sending, shipment, tons of military equipment, and they're renting out stuff for us, the simple shooter. So find the powder that you can and load it to a degree that you can use it and not beat you up, because you can manipulate the load to make it comfortable. So for instance, the H110, you can go down to 22 grains and start at 24, and you can get 1362. That's doable. Okay. Um, I think I'm gonna have to get me one of those chronometers, and I got a friend that has one. I don't know if he can. I don't want to start buying more stuff that I'm hardly gonna use every once in a while. But because now you go shoot, it's $40, no matter what you do. It used to be 23. You pay 9 for the target, and now everything is up. So every time you shoot, by the time you get your target, which is a piece of crap, this place I go here nearby, they give you this PVC with the paper hanging on and it's moving in the wind, falling down all the time. You got to put rocks on the base so it doesn't fall down, and you're spending about $35. So might as well go to the desert and do your own thing. So if I want to go in bear country with a 44 mag, I would try. It's funny, they're not showing the 158 here. They have the 200 and 225, but the 225 is a semi wad cutter. The 200 is a hollow point, so you're gonna have to go with 240, and go with that. I think that TMJ. Let's see, TMJ. I can't come up with the meaning right off the bat. And the 300 is very heavy. That's too much. So 240. That's a good whopper. Now let me see if they have a 180, because I didn't see the 180. 44 special. There's a 210, 220. It's the same TMJ. I gotta find what that's about. But what I would do, I would probably get a load of that buffalo boar. I think it's called buffalo boar, and it's made for bear. It's hard cast. I don't think none of these are hard cast. I don't think the hard cast was around when that book was printed. I'm guessing. I'm not an expert on all the loads. I'm just guessing, but I'm thinking that maybe it's better to buy a box, find out about the grain, the grain on the bullet, and find out the velocity and see if that's good enough for bear power, stopping a bear on its tracks. And then you can shoot that. But a 357 would do the job if you have a right load and if you have the right tip bullet. Everything I got is hollow point, which is useless. Hollow point is going to flatten like a quarter when it goes into the bear's body, and it's not going to really do. It's going to do some damage, but it's not really going to do. There was a story about. I don't know if I mentioned this already, because I've seen a lot of these stories. There was a story about a guy that was hunting. Hang on a second. There was a story about this guy that was hunting. I think it was elk, and he had a handgun. I don't know what kind. But you say, well, I got a rifle. I can handle a bear. Yeah, you can, because the rifle is going to have a lot more power, more punch and everything. But the guy was hunting. The bear jumped him, and just came out of nowhere. Boom! He's on the ground with a bear on top of him. with the rifle like this, and he's like, and the bear's going, "Arr," and he's trying to hold off the bear, and he managed to grab his gun, pulled it out, and just turned it, and boom, shot him right up the chest or the neck area, went up to his head or went in the vitals, boom, 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 and just empty the gun. That's why you need a handgun, because the rifle could do the job from far away, or even if semi close, 50 yards or so, and you can crack maybe two, because the bear does about 40 miles an hour when it's running. And I saw they clocked the horse, racehorse, coming out of the gate. The horse was doing 40 right out of the gate. The bear was faster than the horse. A horse, an animal that is built to run, and the bear outrun the horse. They clocked the bear, not at the same time, the bear with the horse, but they clocked the bear, and the bear was faster. So if the bear is coming at you, hauling ass, and you put out a couple of rounds, that's about as much as you're going to get out of that rifle, because the next shot's going to be the bear's going to be right on top of you. That's why you need a handgun, not a spray can, not a spray can. But being that I'm also considering on stopping, I'm getting older, and how many more backpack hunts I'm going to do? Do I need to buy $1,000 by the time you pay taxes and everything? $1,000 gun to go maybe 2 more times, 3 more times? I'll take the 357 and just make a good load for it, and hope I don't bump into a bear, because it's not about bumping. It's about you working on your deer once you killed it, and the bear shows up, and he goes, "Hey, mine." So it happens. It has happened that people are working on a deer. When they turn around, the bear is right there, and they're sneaky. They're pretty quiet. They come up on you, and what are you going to do? The rifle's leaning against a rock over there, and you're working on a deer with a knife. What are you going to do with a knife? Not much. I don't care how big the knife is. It's not going to do much. The adrenaline going through that animal and attacking you is very, very quickly, very, very fast. They just go for your head, and they start, grabbing your head, and you know, you have a split second to do something, and you know, do it accurately, because if you miss, you're gone. So, but it would be nice to get a 44. Yeah. The only I got geese flying over the house. You can hit them with a broom. Look at that. Yeah, we're here. There's a pond. Just they land there. Every time the weather's like this, you have waterfowl flying over the house. They're beautiful. So, the what I could consider is, like I said before, get rid of the 357 and then buy a 44. You know, it's very light. That's one thing I like about it. It's very light. A lot of people like it. A model 69. Now the six. There's another model, the big one, the 698, I think it is, with a heavier frame. That is not really a backpacking gun. It's not. I met a guy up in the mountains that he was carrying one, 2.5 inch, I think it was, barrel. You know, the uh, the idea is to protect yourself, and you need to have something that you know It's going to give you the best chance to protect yourself. Because if you go with a 9 millimeter, you better take a spray count too, because you're going to need everything. The spray count, the spray count might kind of like, you know, it won't stop them, but it might kind of, kind of stun them a little bit, and then you can take the gun and finish him up with that. I wouldn't even rely on a spray can. Hell no. But this guy from Alaska, he's got that channel Shucks Outdoors, I think it was. He talks a lot about that because they have bumped bears when they're hunting, and nobody goes out there without a handgun. Nobody. Because they know they're out there, and there's a lot of them. That's why I call it bear country. I met a guy a long time ago. This is in the 80s, 87, 88. He was a little bit beat up. I met him on the trail, and he was all beat up and scratched up, and I'm going, and he had no gun, right? And I said, "What are you doing here? You're not hunting, are you?" He goes, "No, I was backpacking." He went into the wilderness, and he says that there was a bear following him, and he tried to kind of work around the bear, and the bear kept coming up the trail, and there was no way to go around him, and the bear saw him, spotted him, and he started following him. So he had to remove his. He threw some cans on the ground, hoping that the bear would stop and sniff him out. And the bear did, but the bear kept coming. And he had to throw his pack down and run. And then the bear, when he got to the pack, he stopped there. He got busy sniffing and tearing it apart. It caught his attention long enough for this guy to get away. And he got to the trailhead, and I bumped into him before he got to the trailhead, and he told me I was scared, out of my life because this bear's going to kill me, and he left everything there. He left the camping gear, the tent, everything. He just left it because the bear wouldn't stop. He had no gun. What are you doing back in there, you idiot? Backpacking into the wilderness. Very rough. There's no way you can get a vehicle in there. Anything. Maybe a helicopter. And back then there were no cell phones or anything. No, don't take a chance like that. You need to take something with you. Even if it's heavy. Because if you go in that light, you might not come out at all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, raining. Well, it's not raining now, but it's freaking cold. This cigar doesn't burn fast. I've been talking for what, half an hour, and it was here, and it's only burnt maybe 2 inches. I'm gonna have to cut it. I'm getting frozen here. But it's got good aroma. Stop biting. It's a good cigar. I could get this one an 8. 7 or 8. Look, you can see my breath. Yeah, it's so cold you can see my breath. So, anyways, that's it for now. I'm gonna cut this because I won't be able to finish it. All right, guys. I'll let you go, and I'll see you on the next one.